Right, it's been a while since we've looked at Briar, and we're back on the Hail of Blades train. They've tried to make her an Omega fighter, scaling way more with HP and such things, base AD, as they've done to Set, Volibear many times in the past 5 years, 10 years, whatever it may be. However, we're back in this world where Briar can straight up build Lethality, Hail of Blades tech, straight up build Bruiser, or straight up build Hybrid. Now, I'm a personal fan of all hybrid build paths because not only does it give you, say, AP and AD, not only does it give you tankiness and assassinationistness, it's really just the best of both worlds in terms of eking out every bit of performance from your champion. However, going really strong into fighter, really strong into assassin, these are good things as well. Now, in this particular game, it's going to be a little bit different because she is going to go full on assassin mode, and I like that because when you look at the composition here, you've got yourself a Pantheon, a little bit of a bitch, but you know, we can deal with it. Kassadin, Evelynn, you got a Zeri, and you got a Lulu. We want to be killing people quickly. We want to get ahead, and we want to suppress them. And the best way to do that when you're this far ahead, especially a nice little drag and the bleed damage there, 231 finish, is to apply pressure to enemy junglers and laners who just can't match you up. And again, this is not Warwick, it's Hilo, it's in Korea, Korea too, right? This is not, you know, I don't want to be offensive to lower servers, but, you know, it's not an NA server. And basically what you're looking at is a Briar in Korea playing like Koreans like to play. And obviously the Evelynn is like, and we're farming. You know, she's just relaxed. The Briar's like, you know, I might even just let you have the grub. I might even just try and steal it away from you. So obviously Evelynn here doesn't even have Smite Up. We're going to go full in on that WQ to get that stun. We'll activate... Well, I thought we were going to do a little bit more, but yeah. You absolutely must head over to Virkayu.gg. I have a free jungle improvement resource as well as a dedicated program where we have jungle video courses, jungle coaching, coaching VOD libraries, weekly free video content seen nowhere else, as well as Q&As and patch note rundowns, as well as a private jungle Discord. And if there's one thing I'm good at, it's making junglers reach their goals, as we saw with the record number of people hitting them at the end of Season 13. If you want to climb faster than anyone you know, jungle diff every game you play, click the link below or head to Virkayu.gg. We didn't have to. This is the problem with these invades that a lot of you don't really understand, is that you go for this, immediately you're going to have rotation. So at this point, Evelynn is super duper low. She might not want to stick around and even fight with the Pantheon coming or the Kassadin coming. Kassadin doesn't leave it. He's half HP. No HP. You know, as we gobbledygook all our words and nothing makes sense. That's the stress I want you to feel when you invade like this, okay? Because way too many times, lower tier junglers, they don't actively respect this stuff. Not quite enough. But this is fine because Aurelion Sol is prior now. Pantheon's trying to help, but Zach's like, look, I can hang on, I got my passive. A lot of lower elo junglers, what they'll do is they'll straight up invade, do what the Briar was doing, and they don't have that sense of urgency, right? They don't look at mid lane and be like, ooh, Kassadin's low HP, it's okay. They say, ooh, Aurelion Sol, you should rotate. But Aurelion Sol is like at this point in the lane, right? Like he's higher HP, just wants to control himself. Kassadin might be full HP and just walks through this new little gap, which makes it much easier to rotate. And when you're not tracking the laners on these invades, bad things happen. But the Briar does a really good job of that. Evelyn's now basically doing what I tell a lot of junglers to try and do in these scenarios, which is, hey, I'm losing a lot of shit. I see the Aurelion Sol top lane. Let me snack something away. And a lot of, even master tier junglers, but diamond level junglers don't think at all about, look, I'm losing my blue, let me give it up. I'm going to quickly take the scuttle crab because she's busy. She's busy doing the scuttle. So the blue buff. So I can take the scuttle, cross over mid lane because Aurelion Sol is in here, go ahead and take this one to push it down, right? Which is risky. Now at this point, doing the double is a little bit more risky, but she knows that the bottom lane are not paying attention. You got to keep eyes on this all the time. So really good job by the Briar and the Evelynn at observing lanes, observing resources, and understanding how to leverage that prior to make the best out of a situation. The Briar, on the other hand, now has done all of this, taken this, cuts across into a blue side quadrant. Evelynn is like, well, you know, I got to respawn of my Krugs here. Benefit of doing red Krugs Raptors, because now you've got buff to the buff. Like, if you did Raptors Krugs red, you'd be looking more at a, you know, 355, 4-minute spawn on these, and this would be a little bit later on. So, you know, the Evelynn has a nice sequence now to fall back to after double scuttling. Even if she loses her Grump and her blue, you know, the wolves are coming up, she can control all her farm. The Briar, in the meantime, says, let me fall back, all right, to my camps. We've got 2 points in W at this stage, obviously. And now it becomes a question of who's basing and when. What are we accomplishing here? Because from Evelyn's point of view, let's see if she actually stays out. She does. She should. The grub will also spawn as well. This is the benefit of good sequencing. Just as a side note, when you do Raptors, Krugs, Red, Wolves, Blue, Grump, it's so you can set up the second rotation. Whether that is you basing and doing it, woo, or whether it's you staying out, double scuttling and doing it. Also, when you do that kind of thing, you can cut in from double scuttle into this reset and go bottom side. It just, when you understand sequencing, the world just falls into place a little better. Which is quite funny because I saw some absolutely nonsensical drivel video show up saying that like there's this new OP clear to win in by 4 minutes or whatever it was. It's a full clear or something. I got the highlights from someone. Full clears are not new. Sequencing is not a new concept. I made the first level 6 Evelyn video in 2020. January, February 2020 with Evelyn on the 2 minute spawn time is talking about sequencing and second rotations. I've been talking about this a long time. But you can see the Evelyn here now is basically saying, this is interesting. This is very interesting, actually. You guys see what's going on here? They're both staying out for the extended sequence because they don't want to cede tempo to each other for the grubs, potentially. The Evelyn knows that she has to give up a lot. She has to sequence all the way back around, come back up again. She also sees that BRIAR, as we saw, get this kill on the top side. We should probably reorganize it. There we go. That's pretty. The BRIAR also decides to stay out because she knows she can also full clear it, right, all the way up again, or she can cut in and gank this, or she can cut in and invade and kill the Evelyn again, or she can go ahead and snack one of these, or all of these if she has as prior. She has all the cards. And so what happens is the Evelyn says, all right, I'm watching this, and I like this. Most likely here, if you've got Smite, you can use it. But if you don't have Smite, I like it less. So she's going a little bit more risky. The BRIAR's actually falling back here. Cassidy's moving. I mean, Cassidy does have prior in the top lane and wants to base, I guess. Yeah, okay. I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit. I was getting excited. I was getting really excited for the Evelyn to want her Cassidy to not rotate and just kind of takes the first grub for experience and moves away. And like she gets a bonus experience and off she goes. Because that's a good play as well. So, I think... You saw the cue? I think from the BRIAR's perspective, let's dial back the sensationalism for a second and the excitement for action and bloody fisting. You know, Zach wants the base, Aurelion Sol's pushed in, Cassidon's here, right? Pantheon is back in the top lane. Let's not go fighting this for no particular reason. Cool. But from the Evelyn's perspective, should the Zach and should the BRIAR collapse on this, and that might happen in your games, even if it's not a good decision. If you're the Evelyn, you have a based, right? It could be rough. You can quickly snack the first grub and get out. At least you get something you deny 3. Really, really good. Really interesting jungling early on. And now BRIAR has obviously set herself up for prime success. Nice W over the wall into that Q. Obviously now we can easily just keep auto-attacking. We've got the Halo Blades proc. We've got a W2 coming through. We have the E whenever we need it. Bottom lane are rotating. I like the move. But I'll get into the technicality as always. Because you can like a move, and a move can be bad at the same time. Because the idea is good, but the execution is flawed, or the idea is shit and the execution is amazing. Which I hate. When you have a terrible idea, and then everyone goes ahead and succeeds. It's like, look, we're geniuses. No. So, why do we like this? Because it's a second red spawn. We know Evelyn takes the grubs. We know that means she stayed out and obviously took these. We know that means she's going to go back to base and she's got the bottom side quadrant. We sequence all the way to the top as well. Gang top lane. We have a bottom side quadrant. What the BRIAR decides to do is say, listen, maybe I can go nice and aggressive and invade this red here that's going to respawn. I know Evelyn's coming down here. I know I can kill her. She's 5, I'm 5, I'm stronger 1v1. Let's go. Especially with the serrated Dirk, which of course will have 7 lethality from next patch, so it'll be a little bit nerfed. Remember that if you watch this in the future. The problem is our Cogmore, or Old Smolder, is going back to base. Janna is going back to base. Zeri is fresh. And so when you look at this play, I love it. If your mid laner is in a position to be on the same page, if your support is full HP and the ADC is going back to base, come on support, let's go. That's when I like this play. However, I still like the aggressive play if I know it's a high-risk maneuver that allows me to snowball the game, and all I gotta do is chunk her like this, try and get to red and get out. As soon, obviously Cassidon's TPing in here. As soon as I see the rotations, you see this, the respect? As soon as the BRIAR sees the rotations, he's leaving. Now what the Aurelion Sol did, which was his mistake, was he actually rotated to help. So laners, I appreciate you when you think like this. Really, I truly do. I truly do. Aurelion Sol's going back to base anyway, but you know, you also see a lot of the time mid laners make this kind of play when they just burned their TP and they just went back to base. And now they go back to base again. You can lose the lane from that. And I really, as I said, love it when laners help us out in that regard. But please, if you see your jungler doing this play, sometimes we're doing it for us. It's a selfish play. I want to try and suppress the Evelynn. Keep her down from 6. Keep her out of your lane so you guys can lane and win and be smart and safe. And if we get collapsed upon, it's on us to know that we can get out. And if you can't get out, that's on us, right? As junglers, if we do this play and we can't get out, that's on us. Laners need to let us die as well. And if you're the jungler that goes and makes this play, and you flame your Kog'Maw for going back to base, you flame your Janna for not even being around because she also has to go back to base, you flame their Aurelion Sol for not rotating, that's on you. This was a good play, an aggressive play. If it pays off, huge. But if it doesn't and they rotate, just leave. You don't really lose much because you got your whole blue side quadrant here. You can loop-de-doop and make plays. Now, the problem is Evelynn, of course, does get level 6 from this. And now Janna is doing the good pathing around the outside because we saw the Evelynn. We kind of know she's hanging about here. And BRIAR's like, well, I'm level 6 now. And kind of smells something funky. She says, I think Evelynn might be around here because Kassadin's moving as well. Evelynn's Qs are not so good. She's forced to flash. Zeri goes yeeting across the dimensions. BRIAR hits the ultimate. Oh, is that a 3-man fear? Yes, it is. Easy WQ onto the Lulu there. Make sure you kill this Enchanter. Push off the Zeri to the back line. Now we can shadow back onto the Kassadin as well as the, what's her name? Evelynn here. She obviously has her ult. She uses it to get out. BRIAR's just going to keep chasing here. There you go. Once more W into the Q. Keep auto-attacking at W2. And not really looking at the E's too much here, but really don't have to worry too much about that. Halo Blade's uptime, by the way, at this point is, oh, well, not uptime, but attacks, 23 attacks, 128% landed. That's funny. Very, very funny. So we like this, you know, and obviously Evelynn is just healing up with her passive and shadowing around, and that's fine. The Evelynn has not been allowed to breathe, and the Evelynn, I love this. I did this earlier, yesterday, not earlier, yesterday as well. You know, you make a play versus a jungler here, and you go back to your Krugs, and they go back to the blue side, and now you know that your bottom lane's going to push, like I was blue side, so my bottom lane's going to push. I know that he's going to not be able to help himself, and he's going to rotate it back over. So what I do is sit in the bush, I wait, he comes, we kill, triple kill for us, hit some plates, right? It's that sense. And look, sometimes you have a better sense than the enemy jungler, sometimes they have a better sense than you. That's what intuition and reading and empirical tracking is all about. So the BRIAR kind of senses, you know, sees brief glimpses of the Evelynn on the map. Even if Evelynn doesn't show at all blindly, you know on the bottom side she's getting 6, you know she's going to try to be aggressive on the bottom lane pre-6, and you're right there. So you lose nothing moving back down. And the Kassadin's really the big read there, because the Kassadin is our mana-less budget Smolder just running mid lane, or alright. We saw the Evelynn here. Obviously now we know she has an ultimate, which means that stun is gonna be free, literally free food. I like this. I like the BRIAR's aggressive stance here. This encapsulates what I think, as I talk about in the courses, is the most important thing for junglers, and for at least gold and above as you start to get into it, jungle denial. Because against an Evelynn, the way we always used to play against it, you know, you play against challenger Evelyns, same thing. You either match their tempo completely instead of the counter ganks, and you just prevent them getting anything because you're tracking some point, and you can kind of play like them and clear like them. But if you cannot, then you got to get on her face, like old school Volibear stuff. You got to run into their jungle, kill them, get deep vision. Don't let them get anything for free, because eventually they will get kills. She will get a kill or two. But at that point, it's like I'm allowing you to have a kill because I'm taking everything on the map and killing everybody else. I think BRIAR's done a really good job of that. Here's Kassadin, yeah. Well, technically correct. There is Kassadin. There's also an Evelynn. Budget Smolder, Smolder at home dies again. Great. BRIAR goes for the scan here. We do have ult up. I don't know if she's going to try the home run. I don't really think she should. I mean, I'm not really of that opinion. Unless he wants to sit in place. But yeah, I'm not really... Is it me, or do I feel like you should just respect the fact that she's clearing the ward and walk the hell away? Why would you not just, if you're gonna leave, just leave. You have TP up, and even that, I don't even know if I want TP back on this. Yeah, but if the jungler's clearing the ward and you sit on the turret against a Zac BRIAR, like, that's on you entirely. Now, obviously, we see the Evelynn over here, which is great, because it gives us technically the free grubbies. Dragon is available, so Evelynn's team should go ahead and take that one. Really interesting game, actually, pathing-wise. We do like these kinds of games. There's not always the most kills. Well, she's 5-0-1, so I guess there is sometimes a lot of kills. But yeah, sometimes there's not a lot of kills in these kinds of games, but the chess match is really interesting. So Brian obviously has information that the Evelyn's down on the bottom side here. Goes for that one, hits that one, but it's only a slow. Everybody goes in, and there's the ult. Very nicely done, actually. That's sometimes all you need is a slow. Excuse me. While that was going on, Briar watches Smolder at home, and the Briar shot smacked beautifully on the Zeri. That's a dead Zeri. Hits the flea onto the Lulu, gets the root stun, gets a stun as well. Huge from the Briar. This is a beautiful ultimate. Heads up awareness, good accuracy. She's playing extraordinarily well. And look, we make jokes. Jungler's on rails, jungler's easy to use, how unskilled, yada yada, we all talk like this. But at the end of the day, objectively, watching champions that are well played is more important than anything else. And that right there is the problem with the current version of Briar. Well, it's always been the problem with Briar when she builds lethality, but now she does nowhere near as much damage as she used to. So you're not able to turn that to a double kill before you die. You die, end of story. If Kog'Maw's not there, no, nothing. You get nothing. So there is downside to this, which is why I like kind of having that assassin playstyle with the Sundered Sky involved, or having some lethality with the Sundered Sky and Hysteric Gauge. Like, I just like having, you know, the snowball component of lethality in your first 3 items, plus the survivability and the sustain that you get from everybody else. Killing spree. Well, he is now saying, excuse me, you've insulted me enough, calling me a budget Smolder. Let me show you Smolder. I don't think you can, buddy boy, but it's good to see a Kog'Maw do solidly. I mean, look, he's 4-1-4. He's actually doing a pretty good job. I mean, the jokes aside, he's doing well. And that's what I think. I mean, Kog'Maw's not exactly in the best state. We can all agree on that one, but Briar and High Yellow Korea, Kog'Maw and High Yellow Korea, things can work. You can almost get to Master 2 with anything. It's just really about, you know, can you do it? Well, that's enough. See what I'm saying? Like, this is the Evelyn moment. She sits in the bush. You know, it's going to happen. She overcommits. They all overcommit. They die. Briar's like, well, you know what? That's fine. I'm allow it. And that's what I like here. She can't know where the Evelyn is, right? And I just wanted to go back because I had this sort of deja vu moment. I was like, wait a second. I'm talking hypothetically. You don't know where Evelyn is. We don't have objectives, so we're going to sequence down because there's nothing really to fight for, and I whatever, right? But then we did see her on this ward. We all did while we're looking at this. So right away, there's pings going through from the Briar, actually. So we know that Evelyn's going to show up, and what they have to do is back the hell up. They have to back the hell up. So I like what the Briar is doing in terms of doing the camps, because we know that there's nothing to fight over, right? No ultimate, no objectives, cool. Let's do a sequence. Look at the CS gap, 96 to 66, 30 CS. Huge pressure on the Evelyn, could never relax. Bottom lane here really should just piss off and leave. The thing is, they're not. And this is the huge problem with Evelyn. She will always get the free food. And the Briar's making the right play. The Briar's making the right play. Let me just get a full sequence before the next objectives, wait for my ult to come up, and then I'll just kill her again and again and again. All you guys have to do is respect the fact that we don't know where she is, that you're low, but we do know where she is. So you can almost justify their death in general, but there should still be that healthy respect about, okay, Evelyn should be in a position. So then obviously we've seen that already, so she comes in and gets a kill. Just worth talking about, I think, a little bit. Laners, it's not jungle gap when Evelyn gets 10, 20 kills doing that. It's laner issue. Here we press a W, we got the stun. That was ambitious. That was very ambitious. You know, the Ghostblade collected damage is still obscene. So if you can reach, and this is the whole point, if you can reach the stage of the game as you transition into that mid-game phase, you've got to have itemization that allows you to carry when you're Briar, especially in high elo. You've got to be able to carry the game through. That's what Bruiser's better if you don't have this kind of lead. Or hybrid is fine. You don't have to go full Bruiser. And that's just because, purely because if you reach this point, or what are we at? It's 8,000 gold at 40 minutes, and the goal is 6,000 gold at 40 minutes. If you have 8,000 gold, you just have so much damage, it really isn't an issue. But you just don't want to get to the point where you're like maybe 5.5k gold and you can't really obliterate people as well. People are already grouping. Now you have such a big lead there. We use the flash into the stun. There's Zeri, the bleed damage. Tick, tick, come on, Kog'Maw. Go on, puppy. We don't waste our time too much. It's just, that makes sense, right? We're just waffling on the point now, but people are not thinking about itemization spikes relevant to what the champion wants to accomplish, relevant to game state, relevant to what is reality, and they just build the same stupid shit that makes no sense with how the game's going, and they lose, and then they complain about stuff. And I think that's a big problem most junglers suffer from. Whereas BRIAR here understands her curve, understands that she can die very quickly, but also knows that she kills everybody way quicker than they kill her at this point. She also knows that no one's grouping up properly yet, and so we need to really use this power, but here again, you see the same thing. Like, their whole team coalesces in numbers advantage and we die. That's the downside of not having an infinite sustained build. Zac, live! Live, you blobby monster! He does actually live. That is a little bit ridiculous. But hey guys, let's nerf the Zac damage, not the healing, for sure, for sure. Dragon? Was machst du here? Alright. Kog'Maw in the meantime is like, yes, I can hit turrets, no stress. Problem is Kassadin's coming online, and now they're going to start to group up. There's a Zeri, there's a Lulu, you know, there's a Pantheon stun. We can be obliterated pretty quickly. So how do you carry this game when you're snowballing hard as hell, and now you're full committed to the Edge of Night? Goodbye, by the way. You're full committed to the full damage build. No Sundered Sky at this point. You went with the Collector instead. How do we go ahead and carry this game? Well, my friends, it's avoiding the full group, right? Avoiding the... See, don't waste your ult. Really start to think about your ult. Like, she hit some nice ones, but keep the ult in a good prime position here. I don't know why Evelynn does exactly what I'm talking about, right? Why does this BRIAR build hurt if you play badly? Because you get stunned and killed when you run into 4 people. Evelynn, what if I do it? Same thing, Evelynn. Same thing happens. You're an assassin. When you're an assassin, you're squishy. If you get CC'd and run into 4 people, you die. BRIAR's kind of just like watching this, I think, like we are. She's just going saying, you know what? We don't have numbers advantage. And I think that's a really good... If you don't think you can win this fight at all against this kind of comp, go ahead, like earlier, snack what you can. I can't win the fight, let me take some drugs. I can't win the fight, let me push a wave up and ditch up. I can't win a fight, let me go push this wave out. Like, look for something else to do other than dying unnecessarily. Here you can look for a pick if you feel strong enough. In my defense, it's a master game, not a challenger game. We still learn things here. Yeah, that was not so good. So they're going to take the dragon. Evelynn now takes all of your shit. Now the BRIAR is starting to feel the downside of this build, same level as Evelynn. All the catch-up experience from the kills. Evelynn then kills the Zac. We don't even watch it because he's overcommitting, no passive. She just kills him. Eesh. Just go straight to the Herald quickly. Bottom lane's here. Evelynn's splitting bot side. Evelynn's not catching up in that CS. You gotta try and make a pick when you have any sort of advantage here. Goes in, onto the Zeri there. Lulu all comes through. The BRIAR. Ooh. The healing there on that E. I mean, obviously it's way better now to... it always was better, but it's way better to have HP for this. And that really does help you. But the damage is pretty good, and the base heal there really did save her, obviously. So it is huge stuff. Pick there onto the Evelynn. E, oh, polymorphed on the E. The Kassadin's a big problem for me, but that's fine. They're focusing so heavily. Oh, bleed damage. And red buff. Huge. They're focusing so heavily on the BRIAR here that she's actually getting away with it. But that was knowing your limits on a damage-focused build and really trusting your E to be huge. Game-winning play by the BRIAR there. Absolutely game-winning play. Huge. Watch it again. Game-winning play. And now you can easily clean up kills, go straight to the Baron and snack it up. At this stage, we'll have Edge of Night. Boom, 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 boom. All right, disengage. Everybody out. Everybody out. Very good. Zac splitting bot lane. Super nice. Zac, please be careful. Go back to base. Good job. Nice macro. Kassadin's flanking here. Careful, obviously. Ugh. Now Heath decides, why live when I can die? That will help my team. And now because he's dead, we don't actually have to base. We can turn it around as they won't expect us to stay. Double kill for the BRIAR. And you have, what, 3,300 gold in pocket. Now the Zeri's over there. And again, point and clicks are great for the Zeri. Disgusting abomination. As weak as she will be, don't misconstrue state of strength with abomination design. You know, they can be weak and beatable and useless, but the design can be abomination, because if they're weak and useless, it's probably because they have abomination design. Because no champion really should be that weak and killed, like we've had with certain champions, except for Yone apparently. That abomination always has to be strong for some reason. But yes, you are seeing the prime. No damage specs? Come on, man. You're seeing the prime way to play BRIAR if you want to solo carry games, but you're also seeing the tightness in terms of how dangerous it can be when you go full damage now. But it can be done. It's just you're not able to get it for free anymore. And I always value that as a skill set when you're playing full damage builds, and I value it for everybody, right? Everybody should think very deeply about their builds and what they're trying to accomplish in the game. Because a lot of people overload on one stat or another. Like some people go for these builds in certain champions, like movement speed, movement speed, movement speed, and it just has diminishing returns at some point. And you could just put it into something more useful. HP, haste, or whatever. Dragon spawning. But again, I don't know why we would go for it. Pantheon's in the bottom lane. If you can make a pick there, you can do it. Trust your team to split push without you if you can do this yourself. Always. But Pantheon's ulting in here, so BRIAR does have the ult engaged right now. But she's moving over immediately. It's a little delayed, but she's moving over immediately. And she's gone for the BF sword because here you can go into the GA, right? Oh, she splits the uprights. Her ult just straight up missed. But I don't think she's needed anymore. You did your job, jungler. The Cogmore and the Aurelian Soul have it from here. You did your job, jungler. It's really what it is. So this thing, what is that again? Steel Sigil, yes, GA. I like that. When you're just looking to end the damn game, and you're not looking to survive, you're just looking to win one fight, one scenario with your Baron and end the game, then the BF Sword and the Sigil and the GAs are always good. Focuses the inhib there. I do kind of like that actually because your bottom lane are dead. All we need to do is wait for the moment to go in. Beautiful patience there. That's also the thing we talk about all the time. Patience, entry point, patience. Most BRIARs will build full assassin still, jump on in, and die. And be like, wow, this build sucks. I mean, it does in that sense, but if you play correctly, it doesn't suck. It's good. And that's why I like hybrid. Because you get a little bit of the snowball, and then you get the survivability, and because you got a big-ass lead, no one can kill you. Like, you have way more than enough damage when you're in the lead, but you have the survivability that no one can actually kill you. And that goes for Warwick, Volibear, BRIAR, everything else. GG's Korean BRIAR player. You are good.